A poor man was cutting the grass in a rich man's garden. Every day he would cut and cut, but the grass grew back as fast as it was cut. No matter how hard he worked, he couldn't finish the job. One day while he was cutting the grass, the rich man came out of his house and asked the gardener why the grass was still there. The gardener looked up and said, "I'm sorry, sir, but no matter how much I cut the grass, it just won't stop growing. It seems like there's some sort of enchantment on this grass." The rich man thought for a moment. Then he called the gardener over, handed him a silver coin, and said, "Go to the market and buy some magical beans. I think this will solve our problem." The gardener took the coin, bowed, and went to the market. At the market, he found a stall selling all sorts of magical things, including magical beans. He bought the beans and returned to the rich man. The next morning, the gardener planted the beans in the garden. And just as the sun rose, the beans sprouted into a huge beanstalk that reached up into the clouds. The gardener looked at the beanstalk and then at the rich man's house. He had an idea, so he climbed up the beanstalk. As he climbed higher and higher, he began to see strange and wonderful things. Finally, he reached the top of the beanstalk and saw a magnificent castle made of pure gold. The gardener couldn't believe his eyes. I'd never seen anything so beautiful. He knocked on the door, and a beautiful woman opened it. She invited the gardener in and offered him food and drink. The gardener told her about the rich man who had hired him to cut the grass, but it seemed like an enchantment had been placed on it, and no matter how much he cut it, it wouldn't stop growing. The woman listened patiently and then said, "Don't worry, I'll help you." She took the gardener to a nearby lake and asked him to take off his clothes and jump into the water. "This is a magic lake," she said. "We'll give you the power you need to break the enchantment." The gardener did as he was told, and as soon as he entered the lake, he felt a surge of power coursing through his body. He put his clothes back on and thanked the woman. He returned home and went straight to the rich man's garden. He reached out and touched the grass, and with a single sweep, he cut down the entire field. The rich man came out of his house and saw the gardener standing in the middle of the freshly cut grass. "How did you do it?" he asked. The gardener simply smiled and said, "I don't know. I just touched the grass and it all came down." The rich man was amazed. He couldn't believe that the grass had actually been cut. From that day on, the gardener was known throughout the land as the man who could cut any grass with a single touch. And the rich man became known as the man who had the most beautiful garden in the world.